Hi, I'm Dory, and today I am coloring a coloring book page with crayons. This was a really fun way to kind of tap into what made me fall in love with art in the first place when I was a little kid. It was fun. I love everything about crayons. I love the incredible color range that you can get in crayons now. I love the smell of them. I just love crayons. And it reminds me, the thing I love most about them is that they remind me of when I was little. I mean, Crayola Crayons, that was my childhood. Like, literally, that is it. That was my life when I was a kid. And I used to just love coloring with crayons. And coloring books were my favorite thing in the entire world. I would fill them up and I would save them and keep them on a bookshelf. and like they were worth something. I loved coloring books so much. So the fact that I am now designing these coloring book pages for my Patreon supporters it's a very personal and special thing, because I'm kind of sharing something that means a lot to me from my childhood, and I'm sharing that with my Patreon supporters. So yeah, just in case you don't know what I'm talking about, this is a coloring book page that I designed for my Patreon supporters. I post a new one every single month, and anyone that's on my Patreon can download it and print it out and color it. And every single month I try to make it something really different. Like, I've done dragons, and one was a page of a bunch of tropical fish. I did one that was all these different types of sushi. One was this cute little fox. I try to keep them all very different, every single month has this kind of unique feel, this unique character, or, something interesting. And I love it. I love it because that's what I used to love about coloring books when I was a little kid. I used to get such a huge charge out of finding a book that had a theme that I liked and trying to fill in all the pages and, looking for a story in some of them. And it was fun to me. And yeah, it's amazing. I love that I'm able to share this with my supporters on Patreon. I love that I'm able to do this and invest my time and energy in creating these really cool and unique coloring book pages. And this one in particular was a page that I was very excited about because it's unicorns. I freaking love unicorns. They are very special. I used to collect them as a kid. I'm not even kidding. They were all over my bedroom. I had unicorn posters and art prints. I had this massive velvet painting of a unicorn flying past Saturn that I got at a yard sale, and I think this thing was massive. But I got it at a yard sale as a kid, and that was hanging over my bed for a really long time. But I had little figurines and stuffed animals, and I loved unicorns. To this day, I love unicorns. I think they're just so friggin' fun and cute and magical, and yeah. So this was a coloring book page that I designed with unicorns on it, and they are very similar to the unicorns that I used to draw as a kid. That it's very similar. You can tell they're very heavily inspired by the kind of the aesthetic of the My Little Ponies from the 1980s, which is the time I was a kid. I was huge into collecting those too. I had so many My Little Ponies, it's not even funny. But yeah, this was kind of, this coloring book page for me is just a celebration of everything that I loved as a little girl. It's a coloring book, it's crayons, it's unicorns, and I made it, I filled the sky with stars because I wanted this to be kind of a moonlit night, which you can see now as I'm coloring this in. I'm making it a night scene. I've got the moonlight kind of shining on the edges of my unicorns here. I've got a little baby looking up at its mom, and I'm putting in a little bit of grass color here, but I'm about to go in with some black and really darken that up. And I had so much fun with this. I can't even tell you. This was so much fun to do, and it was like being a little kid again. Seriously, working on this project, it was like a little kid again. And I found myself doing the same things that I used to do when I was young and I used to color. I was bearing down really hard on my crayons. I was one of those kids. I would break my crayons constantly because I really wanted to get a nice solid color. So I would press down really, really hard and mash on my crayons. So I had so many broken crayons when I was a kid. So I found myself doing kind of that same thing, rather than layering color the way you would with a color pencil. I found myself instead bearing down very, very hard on my crayons, and I found my arm was just aching. I was so tired after I colored this, because I was coloring like I used to as a child and I was just really mashing down those crayons into the page. So I am so happy with how this looks in the end. I think that the colors are so much fun. I think that if I showed this coloring book page, if I took it back in time and showed it to myself as a child, I think I'd be super impressed with how this looks. And yeah, I really, really like the lighting in it. I think is the best part of it, but I had a lot of fun picking out the colors. My husband actually bought me a set of crayons that have well over 100 different colors in this set. I forget exactly how many. I think maybe 120. But it's a massive amount of crayons. Oh my gosh. And it I remember when I was little, a box of 64 crayons was considered like, holy cow, that was like, the mother load of crayon colors. And this one is just like, I'm sure double that amount, and it's just crazy to me. The amount of colors that they had. This set has neon colors, and it has metallic ones, and all these amazing colors that I definitely did not have when I was younger. So I had fun going through and kind of selecting my color palette for this particular picture, and I'm loving it. I think it is so cool. You can see here I am trying to slow myself down and stop mashing on the crayons so much. I'm trying to layer color and build it up and all that, and kind of treat these almost like color pencils, but I was having fun just really coloring like I used to. It was a good time. At one point I did get impatient the way I used to as a kid, and I started just coloring right over the stars, and I had to go back in at the end with a Posca pen and put the stars back into the sky because coloring around the edges of the stars was just too much for me. It was too much to ask. I couldn't be bothered. But yeah, I'm super proud of this one. I've really had so much fun, and I'm smiling right now looking at it. I think this was just a great time. It was so much fun to do, and I hope that my friends on Patreon, I hope that they had just as much fun with this particular picture. But I do try to put there something. Tongue-tied. I do try to make a coloring book page for everybody. I try to a little bit of something for everyone. Like I said, I've done dragons. I've had motorcycle was one of them. I've done just tons of stuff. One was a bunch of butterflies and worms and ants and just different types of bugs. And yeah, and in demonstrating these, I've done markers and I've painted them, and I've used color pencils in some, I think, and I just wanted to do one that had crayons, and I think this was the right one to color with crayons because it felt nice. It really is. This is a picture I definitely would have loved to color when I was a little girl, so. If you're interested in coloring this coloring book page, it is still available. It is on my Patreon. I'll have that link down below. If you want, it's only $1 a month, gets you the coloring book page, and that's amazing, honestly. There's other rewards too that come with that, but I think that I'm the only person that I know of. I know I'm the only person that I know of that has this particular award set, and I'm excited about it. I love making things that I think you guys are going to enjoy and sharing things with you that are important to me. So yeah, that is my unicorn. Thank you so much for watching this. I really, really hope that you loved this. If you do end up coloring this page, be sure to share it with me, because I would love to see how you color it and what colors that you pick to put into it. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you later. Bye.